Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to an actual episode of the Balance of Opinion Sports Podcast, which you got hosted the most man with the plan, Yawa, King ECG, and we got the Buffalo Kid in the building.
It's your boy Sly, man. We here, man. 716.
And my famo.
Yo, it's your boy nivici. Starve the ego, feed the soul.
Hey, yo, we haven't been on for a minute, gentlemen. You know what I mean? It's been a lot of stuff that went on, but I feel, and I think the panel feels, one of the most important things we should be talking about today is, you know what I mean, what's going on with Kyrie. We ain't gonna get into that Kanye stuff, but I've got a video that's been put together myself with a couple of people, including Kyrie. Kyrie's actually part of the first clip. Now, do you guys want to say anything first before we get to that? Your thoughts on just the whole situation?
Run it first.
Yeah, run the clip.
All right.
It's a title given to Christ, Philippians 2:11. And my name translates. And it's a title given to Christ, Philippians 2:11. And my name translates in the Hebrew language as Yahweh. So I went on the Amazon Prime. I was like, you know what, let me see if there are any documentaries on Yahweh. So went in the search bar, typed in Yahweh. That came up. Went out and shared it on my platform. That was my night. In terms of the backlash or what people call it, we're in 2022. History is not supposed to be hidden from anybody. And I'm not a divisive person when it comes to religion. I embrace all walks of life. You see it on all my platforms. I talk to all races, all cultures, all religions. And my response would be, it's not about educating yourself on what Semitism is and what anti-Semitism is. It's really about learning the root words of where these come from and understanding that this is an African heritage that is also belonging to the people. Africa is in it, whether we want to dismiss it or not. So the claims of anti-Semitism and who are the original chosen people of God, and we go into these religious conversations and it's a big no-no. I don't live my way like that. I don't live my life that way. Excuse me, I grew up in a melting pot. And I say a melting pot of all races, white, black, red, yellow, Jewish, Christian, Muslim, and you can see the way I live my life now. I'm not here to be divisive, so they could push their agenda. I don't want to say they, because I'm not identifying any one group or race of people, but I'm in a unique position to have a level of influence on my community. And what I post does not mean that I support everything that's being said or everything that's being done, or I'm campaigning for anything. All I do is post things for my people in my community and those that it's actually going to impact. Anybody else that has criticism, and obviously wasn't meant for them.
Hopefully I'm understanding what you said, and I want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to misquote any part of it.
I don't expect understanding from a media conglomerate group that really talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question. Right. So we can move on from this and I could talk about the game and go home to my son, Elohim, and my wife, Marlene, okay?
Am I to take it that this was, what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was, you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time last year to read a lot. Read a whole bunch. Good and bad about the truth of our world.
So then do you, I guess, understand or not understand those that might imply that that work had anti-Semitic leanings in it? I only ask this because the tweet is still up there, so I
We're in 2022. It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to go watch it or not is up to you. There's things being posted every day. I am no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have over top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not? Why not? Everybody posts everything else. You saw the word nigger going up on Twitter, right? I don't hear uproar on that. I'm not here to be divisive on what's going on this or that. I'm not comparing Jews to blacks. I'm not comparing white to black. I'm not doing that. That conversation is dismissive, and it constantly revolves around the rhetoric of who are the chosen people of God. And I'm not here to argue over a person or a culture or religion on what they believe. No, this is what is here. It's on a public platform. Did I do anything illegal? Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I do anything illegal? Did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out and saying that I hate one specific group of people? So out of all the judgment that people got from me posting, I just, without talking to me, and then I respect what Joe said, but there has a lot to do with the not ego or pride of how proud I am to be an African heritage, but also to be living as a free black man here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here. So I'm not going to stand down on anything that I believe in. I'm only going to get stronger because I'm not alone. I have a whole army around me.
Kyrie, while we're on the topic of promotion, why did you decide to promote something that Alex Jones said?
That was a few weeks ago. I do not stand with Alex Jones' position, narrative, court case that he had with Sandy Hook, or any of the kids that felt like they had to relive trauma, or parents that had to relive trauma, or to be dismissive to all the lives that were lost during that tragic event. My post was a post from Alex Jones that he did in the early 90s or late 90s about secret societies in America of occults, and it's true. So I wasn't identifying with anything of being a campaignist for Alex Jones or anything. I was just there to post, and it's funny, and it's actually hilarious because out of all the things I posted that day, that was the one post that everyone chose to see. It just goes back to the way our world is and works. I'm not here to complain about it. I just exist.
And to follow up on the promotion of the movie and the book,
Can you please stop calling it a promotion? What am I promoting?
put it out on your platform.
But I'm promoting it? Do you see me in front of
putting it out there,
the
people
title?
are going to say that you are
Yeah, I put it out there
promoting.
just like you put things out there, right?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's not
You put
stuff,
things out there for a living, right?
right? But my stuff
Great.
is
So
not
let's move on.
filled
Let's
with
move on.
anti-Semitic
Let's
stuff.
move on. Don't dehumanize me up here.
I'm not doing
I'm
that.
another
You're
human
free
being.
to post
I can post whatever I want.
you
So
can
say
post
that and shut it down and move on to the next question.
But Kyrie, you have to understand that by
I don't have to understand anything from you.
But it's
Nothing.
not me.
Nothing.
By
It's no people
posting
that
what
you're
you
making up,
did,
bro. Move on.
But by posting
Move
what
on.
you
Next
did,
question. Next
anybody
question. Do
is
you guys
gonna
have any
look
more
at it,
questions for
and
me?
they're going to say,
You guys have any more
Does he have
questions? Because this is going to be a clip.
anti-Semitic
This is going to be a clip that he's going to marvel at. Is this any more questions?
but you're not answering the question.
Oh, it's another answering your question. Oh my God, let's make another Instagram clip so we could be famous again. Next question.
Kyrie, basketball related.
I want to get the
Okay, so we heard that. I could have got all of them, but I think that one was the most impactful because this is the first time he actually talked about the subject after the post and before everybody came with the ridicule for him. So, which one of you gentlemen want to touch on this first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't mind. Just speaking on Kyrie, just as a man, like I got just the utmost respect for him as a man, just by somebody that's interested in his past and his where he comes from and his history, and someone that actually did research. Because I've done the same thing. I've looked into my history, my ancestry as well. So I have the utmost respect for him just for actually doing the research and going in and just showing a certain level of just caring. Because a lot of times as black people, we just take what we learn in school and just that's our history. Like we start our history at like slavery and like Harriet Tubman and like that's where we think our history starts when in reality it's much deeper. But aside from that, I just feel like this is just another instance where the media is just using their influence and manipulating the situation to control what someone thinks, feels, says, and it's really just sad, man. And I feel for Kyrie because I can tell this probably is affecting him like mentally, like on a mental level too. Like, and it's probably gonna affect his play on the court to a certain degree. And it's like I kind of feel for that man because ultimately he's looked into his situation, got some information, and he kind of wants to he wants to kind of offer some information or encourage other people to do it just like he has and look into like the history of black people, the history of really of people as a whole, and like and just to know that the story is not what we've been told, it's not what we learned in school, it's actually different. And I think that was what Kyrie's purpose of posting a link to that book was. It wasn't about anti-Semitism, or it wasn't so much about like I don't think that was his purpose. His purpose was to literally to inspire people to look into their history, the history of Black people in the world. Like it wasn't. It was for people to question things and to be more inquisitive and look into things and not kind of take what we've been taught our whole lives and just apply that. Like that, this is it. This is the story of man. This is the story of Black people. Like, no, that's not the story. We've been lied to. Look into this. This is something I read. Check this out. They might have some stuff in here. And they took that whole thing and flipped it and tried to make him into like a racist and when we really literally just posted a link. Like it's messed up, man. It's messed up. But salute to Kyrie, man. I had the utmost respect for that man.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, listen, can't. That's good points you made there, Sly. Um, I just I'm gonna start off by saying is in 2022 here, we are so sensitive as human beings. It's beyond ridiculous how sensitive we are. Uh, But also, here's a big thing is here we got to keep the same energy. And I think all three of us have talked about the same energy on this platform for a long time. We got to keep the same energy. And as somebody that's followed Kyrie's career inside and outside the of basketball, um, I've never seen this guy. Kyrie is not um, what they're calling him. He's just not that because. And then the thing is, most of these people that's here on this platform that's talking down to Kyrie and all these guys, Kyrie has done so much good that these guys can't even compare it to on his level. The amount of good Kyrie has done for every single thing. Kyrie has fed um, kids in Pakistan, give them clean water, all of that stuff. Listen, man. But the thing is, though, the media has it out for Kyrie. He's public enemy number one in the media. And it's all started from when? No COVID, right? And everything Kyrie did, it was taken the wrong way. King, go ahead. I'm gonna come back.
Okay. First things first. I just want to say, Kyrie, I was one of the people that was on your case about not being a team player. Do you know what I mean? I still feel that way regarding basketball, regarding the business, but the stuff that's going on right now is uncalled for. Nivici, Kyrie was public enemy number one when he left LeBron. When he went to Boston, that's when a lot of this shit started. Because you have to remember when they brought him on First Take, Max was grilling him about a million things. He got upset about it. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, he even said to himself, if me and LeBron talk, you guys don't have to know about that. But now to get to this, circle all the way around, all he did was post a link. And I understand that there was some anti-Semitic things in there. And Jason Williams, and I agree with Jason Williams a lot. If Kyrie was able to explain from the jump, the minute he was asked the question, what he took from it, what he could say was good, what he could say was bad, maybe the situation wouldn't have happened. Do you know what I mean? Because you have to remember, it doesn't matter who it is. If one of us posts something and we put no context behind it, and you know what I'm saying, Da Vinci, context and detail, right? We put no context behind it, people can make whatever narrative they want and run with it. Do you know what I mean? And it's sad because you look. This was the wrong time for him to post that. Kanye just got. He was 1.5 billion. That boy down to 400 million for saying some stuff on Drink Champs. Noriega, Nori had to come on the Breakfast Club, whatever it is, with Rosenberg and them, and apologize because he knew it was coming down the pipeline. Do you know what I'm saying? Now, like you said, Da Vinci, and I know Sly's gonna agree with this. Yeah, the same energy. You know what's funny? I just want to show you guys something real quick. Because this is what Kyrie has to do to get back with the Nets. Okay? You see this? Apologize, condemn the movie. Well, he did that. It took him a minute. He was stubborn. We all know. Prideful.
Well, here, King. You listen. Kyrie did apologize from the jump, pretty much, because
I
it's
know.
just not in the way they wanted to. It wasn't
know.
good enough for them. They wanted to drag him down more.
No, I know. Listen, remember, we had conversations on the phone about this, right? Like, he apologized in 1,000 different ways, but they didn't get what they wanted, right? The 5K donation, they now have denounced that. They don't want that money, right? Then he's got to do sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training, meeting with the Jew leaders, meeting with Joe side to demonstrate understanding. Now, I don't like to be this guy who's going to say bump that, but bump all of that. There's been white NFL players, white singers that have said the word nigger, have said all types of crazy stuff. We don't put them through that, do we? So why the hell we got to go through that? The most messed up thing is us as a people, we are the most forgiving. We say, hey, you said sorry, we got you. But when it comes to other cultures, what they want to do when it comes to us, they want to hang us out to dry. They want to lynch us. You see what I'm saying? Make us look bad.
The funny thing, that's exactly what it is, though. Like,
buck breaking.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They want to make an example. They want to show, like, yo, this the dude that want to open his mouth and think for himself and think he can speak freely. Well, we're going to embarrass you in front of everybody. We're going to take your money. We're going to make you do these outlandish things in order to play basketball and continue your career. But we're going to make an example. So for everybody to see, to let them know in the future, listen, if y'all think about doing it, if y'all think about going the same route as this man, expect to get more of the same. And that's really what it is. It's the same thing with, I hate to say it, same thing with when they used to hang people. They would hang you so when other people see you, they see like, look what we did to him. It's literally just to make it's to make an example out of you and to do it publicly. And I mean, obviously they can't hang you from a tree anymore. So what they do is they use the media to literally expose you. It's sad.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree with that 100%. I just think, man, it's those lists that you just read of the protocols that he's supposed to do is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And here's my thing is I want to see other NBA players standing up for Kyrie and saying that's ridiculous. I want to see that. I need to see more. I need to see lots of them. That's ridiculous.
Hey,
because like you said, King, like you said, we have been watching sports and we watch a lot of different type of sports, and we've seen people said direct things, not a link, direct things to our culture, to our people, direct things. And guess what? They said I'm apologize, just a simple apologize, and then that's guess what? Tomorrow it's done, it's forgotten, it's forgotten, it's it.
Yeah,
nothing's going on.
Of
But
course.
now Kyrie's got to go through steps like you calling him like he's stupid or something like that. Like, come on, let's be real here. And listen, I'm not sitting here. I have no problem with Jewish people at all. So let's just get that out of the way, people. We're not condoning. We're just being realistic about the situation here. Yeah. It's just not fair.
Well, you know one thing my dad used to tell me, and I know Sly's gonna laugh when he hears this because he probably heard this from some of the older OGs. Fair is a place they judge pigs. The world is not a fair place. But at the end of the day, though, if we're really trying to say, okay, people, we're not for anti-Semitism, we're not for hate on trans, we're not hate on blacks or whites. Everybody has to get the same thing. Kyrie took accountability. Okay? Now, he didn't take accountability the way that they wanted, but he took accountability. So leave it at that. But I'm going to play this other... Oh, go ahead.
Hold on, before you go, King. Yeah, so my thing is, if this is so bad, Kyrie posting a link, then why the hell isn't Amazon getting crucified? Because that's on their platform. If this thing is so horrible, why isn't them getting crucified? This thing also played in Shaq's movie theater.
Facts.
A couple of years back. So where is that energy towards them? Like, that's, come on here. You see the BS?
No, listen, I feel you. I'm gonna play another clip. This is Jason Williams talking about it. I have a personal clip from Jason Williams that he posted where it might contradict what I'm playing right now, people. Just bear with me, okay?
In 1 second. But I want to make a bigger point that I think a lot of people have missed that is worth our attention and time. So, over the last several days, I've heard a lot of people come out and speak against Kyrie Irving, right? Which they should. I get it. On the lack of due diligence, I watched the entire film. I watched the entire thing. There's a lot of things in the film I disagree with. The curiosity nature of it is interesting. But I will say this. Where is that same attention and energy for the platform that is promoting it and profiting off of it? I don't hear any of that talk around Jeff Bezos and Amazon. I don't hear anybody talking about that. I hear everybody skewing their anger towards Kyrie for taking a picture of it and tweeting about it. Now, there deserves to be more context there from Kyrie. I think where Kyrie lost a lot of people is the unwillingness to go to the podium and expound upon the points that he learned from watching this. Right?
Yeah.
And actually coming out and saying, I don't stand about calling Jewish people the devil.
Right.
And there was a lot of misinformation, but this is my main point from watching this. But I go back to the bigger
I just
macro
want to say
point.
one thing. It is irresponsible.
I'm sorry for pausing it here. To everybody watching this channel, I'm only speaking for myself. I'm not misogynistic, but sometimes when Marley Karen butts in, she butts in on the wrong things, and she tries to back up things that aren't even said. But I understand Jason Williams, hey, he handled it well. Me, I would have told her to shut up and sit down. But yet again, back to business.
Even if you have curiosity, it is
I agree with you,
irresponsible
Molly.
to amplify
I agree.
messages from Hitler
I agree.
ever on any
Right. So-
on any and that's not. I just want to make that
No,
clear. And you didn't allude to that, but ever under any circumstance.
Yes, so why
Because yet again, sorry for pausing it again, people. He's talking about Jeff Bezos. He's not really talking about the film as much. He's saying, hey, you guys are attacking Kyrie, but you're not attacking the same platform, which Sly and nivici have pointed out, as well as myself.
is it on a major
100%.
platform? Why is the major platform amplifying it? Kyrie amplified it to 14.7
I'm not defending
million.
them
I understand.
either.
I think that's a great point. But the platform is profiting and promoting it to billions of people. If that is so, the anti-Semitism, if that is a thing, and I've called a lot of my Jewish friends. We have talked about this. I get it. Kyrie Irving deserves a lot of heat. Then put heat towards something where it deserves it too, and that's on the platform. And I feel like that whole thing is being missed here as everybody. Like, and I get that Kanye tagged onto it. It's a bigger conversation.
Agree.
So, after we hear that from Jason Williams, I feel like Kyrie having to do those things, people coming out of the woodworks to jump on him. I mean, I commend Jaylen Brown. When
Yes.
Jaylen Brown seen that garbage, you know, the 6 things that he had to do, he was one of the first NBA players. Nobody put a battery in his back. He was the first of a few NBA players that said that's garbage. He shouldn't have to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? And you're right, nivici. More of them need to speak up, but we all know what it is, man. People are afraid to lose the bag. When you're afraid to lose the bag, you're gonna act funny, okay? That's just what it is. Do you gentlemen have anything you want to say about this before I get into Jalen Rose? Because Jalen Rose, for people out here that are crucifying him, y'all have to understand where Jalen Rose is coming from. And when I play this clip, you're gonna fully understand what he's saying, because there's more than one side to this situation and the story. And it's part of the reason why people are moving funny. Like you said, nivici, Shaq had this in his theater years before, right? So Shaq should have shut his mouth. Because if he shut his mouth, we wouldn't know about it, would we? But when you on TV with freaking Chuck, the sellout, talking about people are idiots and they're bozos, we gonna look into you, my guy. And I love Shaq.
Listen,
I love
listen,
Shaq, but he's the
and
biggest clown right now, bro.
Facts.
he is both of them, him and
No,
Charles.
Chuck's been a
And-
clown. Let's leave Chuck
Yeah,
out of this.
that's yeah. But listen, here's the thing: is we're not here to protect Kyrie. Kyrie did something that, honestly, if he was gonna post, he should have gave us context and details with it, right?
Yeah.
So let's hold Kyrie accountable for his action.
Yep.
You should not never just put up something up there and just for the hell of it. Like, you already know the target on your back, right? So you should have just put up context and details up there, like, oh, I watched this documentary or something in the line. It was crazy, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, right? Like, just give us something, right? Because you put it up there now, and you didn't say nothing. So guess what? They're gonna run with it and said, "Oh, exactly what they're doing now." But like I said, here we're sitting here, we're talking about Kyrie, we're holding him accountable, but are we calling him stupid? Are we calling him a bozo? Are we disrespecting him as a man? No, we're not. No, we're not. We're not on no big platform. We never played. He's not in our brotherhood of basketball. So you know me. I've always got heat for these guys up there because they're always disrespecting people more than they should.
I feel you. We've got a brotherhood of like we may not have the brotherhood of basketball, but we do have the brotherhood of our people, and he is one of our people. And that one thing I'm going to say, and you're going to hear me say it throughout this podcast. We need to stop the cancel culture. That's not of our people. That's not of our culture. What we need to do is start the council culture, which is you did something wrong. Let me take you aside. I'll explain to you how I felt. You explain to me why you said that, and we figure it out, and then we push forward. We need to stop following other cultures and other garbage. Because as you see, that's what they want us to do. They want us to kill ourselves. They want us to kill each other. They want us to, the minute one of us does something wrong, oh, let's jump on him too. Mm-hmm. That's how they live it. But let me get to this Jalen Rose.
First and foremost, I want every person, it don't matter what your age is, to identify with the fact that freedom of speech isn't free. I don't care if it's child to parent. I don't care if it's student to teacher. I don't care what dynamic it is, professional athlete to the league. There's a responsibility that we all have as human beings when we accept certain opportunities, when we enter in certain careers, that there's a level of ethics that you need to comport yourself in order for you to function under the dynamics of a group, in particular, in this case, a team. As an athlete, what we learn in high school, Jacoby, is a couple of things that people underestimate about us. That's why I always implore young people to play sports, because of the life lessons it gives you. As an athlete, you're required to do two things really young. Number one, be educated. Because in this profession, you got to stay eligible. You can't play the game. I went to college. I graduated from college. The second thing you have to do is you become a role model, whether you accept it or like it or not. And when you start to become a role model? When people start to look up to you. When you start to sign autographs.
Wearing your shoes.
When they start wearing your shoes, that's when you become a role model. So now that means you have autonomy, fame, and power. It's very, you have to be very disciplined about how you yield that platform that we're now given. And so in this dynamic, if your goal is to be heard and have freedom of speech, like my godfather, J Mac, always tell me, but there's still, even though there's freedom of speech, there's still going to be discipline. There's still consequences behind that speech. And so for anybody that feels like he should be able to say what he wants to say or post whatever he wants to post without being disciplined, you're just being unrealistic. There's no walk of life you can say what you want or post what you want without being disciplined. You know why? Unless you're a billionaire, you work for somebody. You can tie every business back at some point to you need to satisfy a certain criteria in order to work in this profession, to go to this school, to have this trade. It don't matter what you choose to do. So now, if you want to use that platform irresponsibly, you have to deal with the consequences that come with it. So here's the consequence. I now, in theory, get suspended for 5 games, if not more.
At least 5 games.
I'm costing my team for the second year in a row an opportunity to be whole based on my personal decision making. Last year, chose not to get vaccinated, missed half the games. Had a lower seed. He and KD needed to play more minutes. They were taxed against Boston, the only team to get swept. You have a free agency coming up. You go into the off season. You commit back to the game. You at the summer league games. You playing pickup ball. You're doing what you need to do in order to put yourself in position to go into a season with no distractions. The season starts. They have a turbulent start. KD doesn't get his trade request granted. Now, nobody can't tell me if you look at Kyrie's games missed versus his games played, that doesn't affect the other 14 guys, the coaching staff, and ownership. That affects everybody, your decision making. And so now, if you're Kevin Durant, whether he says it right now, whether he says it tomorrow, whether he says it in 5 years, at some point, he's going to look himself in the mirror. He's probably done it privately, but he'll say it publicly at some point. It was a terrible decision for him to leave the Golden State Warriors to team up with Kyrie Irving if the goal was to win championship.
Of course.
And that got there was an exclamation point on that decision when they won the chip without him. That was the exclamation point.
So, any of you guys want to touch on what Jalen said? Give your opinion. Let people know how you feel. Who wants to go on this?
I mean, I'm not mad at a lot of stuff Jalen Rose said. I feel like to a certain degree, some of the stuff he said is correct. I just don't agree. This is where I don't agree. I think we can all, everybody's under this. We all in agreement that Kyrie's punishment it's ridiculous. I think anybody could look at that and say that. And where I don't agree with Jalen Rose is or any of these personalities, they too quick to jump on a bandwagon of bashing another black man, just like you said earlier, without hearing them out. And I can't stand that. Like, It's like we do not have to jump on a bandwagon of super beating down somebody, start calling like to the point where they calling him out his name. They're calling him all kinds of things. And honestly, it looked like a man that's literally trying to find himself and find his roots, and that should be commended. They calling him an idiot, and that's so disrespectful, man. And they should be more like, I'm gonna call Kyrie and have a talk with him. They should say things like that. They should say things like, yo, that Kyrie he's a bright young man. He's thinking outside the box, and I respect that. But I disagree with he did this. They're calling that man out his name. They literally just repeating the things that the media is saying and telling us. They're just repeating them. That man posted a link. These are other black men going and saying, I don't agree with any hate speech, and I'm not with the hate, man. I don't know what Kyrie's thinking. He's an idiot. And he didn't say anything. He did not use any hateful terminology towards any group of people. And it's like, I just wish as black people we had that mentality more of just in situations like this.
Sticking together.
Yeah, right. It's just being more like understanding and more giving each other the benefit of the doubt in certain situations. Like, obviously, there are situations where some people don't deserve it. Somebody like maybe Antonio Brown probably don't deserve it. But somebody like Kyrie, who's somebody who thinks outside the box, he's clearly trying to gain information. If you listen to his past interviews, he talks about like looking into his family's roots and meeting with like Native American tribes and stuff like that. And like, yo, this man is invested in finding his roots of not just himself. He's also invested in helping people. And it's like, if you don't give somebody like that the benefit of the doubt as a black man, I can't respect you. And that's why I have zero respect for like somebody like maybe a Shaq or Charles Barkley, specifically them, because they're disrespectful with it. And honestly, even somebody like LeBron James, because with his voice and he's made it to be so some people look at him as like as an activist, which is I think that's a false tag to put on him. But for somebody like him, they look at him as a voice, somebody that speaks for black people. For you to not be empathetic to Kyrie when you have a relationship with him, you know him personally, and most of all, you have his phone number. You can contact him, his agent, his family probably. You probably could call his dad. And for you to kind of get on a platform and give your opinion rather than talking to him and give your opinion while he's already in a compromised position, it baffles me. I don't understand. These are men that been further than me in life and seen more than I have. So for them to not be able to kind of put that together in their brains that this man is in a position, he's compromised. Let's support him. Let's keep him up because that man is probably going through it mentally right now. And yeah, honestly, that's my biggest gripe in the whole thing. Honestly, is the lack of support from his contemporaries, just the other. I don't even want to the other basketball players. I'm gonna say specifically, other basketball players should be more supportive of him.
Hey,
For sure.
facts. I couldn't agree with that more. And just to add on to certain things you were saying, Sly, um, it doesn't matter how much good you have done in this world. If you've done one thing or somebody thinks you've done something simple bad, that's enough to tear you down, right? Like I was mentioning earlier, and Sly was mentioned. Kyrie is a phenomenal human being, and who he chooses to help, it doesn't matter about your skin, the color, your religion. It doesn't matter. He helps, right? So, like we're saying, like Sly's saying, all these guys tearing them, all these guys talking bad about him, calling them names. Where are you guys, right? This guy is donating 323 thousand to feed in America, partner with City Harvest and all, send 250,000 for meals and all of this stuff. Partner with Nike to send, donate 17 pallets of food to different places, committed $1.5 million to helping WNBA players, excuse me, right? Paid off college tuitions for multiple kids at HBCU, right? Purchase a house for George Floyd's family, right? And the list keeps going on. The list goes longer.
Facts.
And if everyone chooses to educate themselves about that, instead about that, and then see that he's not that, Kyrie's just a very in tune human being. That's who he is. He's a very in tune human being. So educate yourself, like you said, like King says. Stop canceling, counseling, educate. Like it is, because listen, we're all human beings, and everybody's gonna make mistakes. I don't care who you are. Show me a perfect human being.
Word.
Right? And all these guys sitting up there and they're trashing him. That's what said. It makes me crazy, right? I know Sly's here with me. It makes me very mad. I don't like that. I don't like it. You don't need to make your point by talking bad about somebody or trying to degrade them. You don't. And if you choose to go that way, you're weak.
That's a fact.
Don't call me weak. Ben Simmons still ain't shoot a proper jump shot. He a bum.
Well, King, here's the thing is, though, you're not sitting out there calling him. You're not sitting there degrading and calling him. You're talking about his basket. You're critiquing his basketball play.
Not his character.
Which is fine. That's what you need to do. That's their job, is to critique the basketball play, his play on the floor.
Because that's what those guys know, too. Y'all know basketball. Y'all don't know nothing about nothing else, Shaq specifically. You know about basketball, and I know I don't want to say that, but you know about business, you know about basketball. You are not in a position to judge that man's character or speak on his intelligence or no. And I don't even want to play that game, but I never looked at Shaq or Charles Barkley as the brightest, most intelligent individuals anyway for them to pass judgment on someone else's intelligence. And that's just foul, man. When I heard, I think it was Shaq that called him an idiot. I was like, man, that was so cringy, man. Just to hear that, it's like, come on, man. You're like 60 years old. Like, you're supposed to be an elder statesman. Like, I didn't like that.
Well, this has been this has been Charles Barkley character, and this is why King knows it. I'm pretty sure you've noticed since we started up here, Sly. I dislike him. I have no respect, not 1 ounce of respect for Charles Barkley, because he's been doing this for years and years and over and over. He'll sit there and there's a player on a team, he doesn't know it, and he'll completely just disrespect him. Oh, he doesn't matter. I don't know him. Why don't you know him? That's your job to know these players.
Word.
It's not your job to sit there and talking about when, let's say, the Kings were doing bad. It's like, oh, they're trash. They should be out the league. Like, come on. It's ridiculous. He's been doing that for years.
Now, I hope people understand this. Let me solo myself up. I hope people understand this. Kyrie's 30 years old. He's still a baby.
Word.
He's still a baby. I swear to God, 4 months ago, we sat here and talked about Kyrie when he went on the I Am an Athlete podcast. Okay? And we commended him for that because he gave us more insight to who he was. He said, I was not mentally stable at that time. I was going through things. I was trying to figure out my life. And it's just funny how they can see that and you don't hear no news about it. Nobody's saying, you know what? Kyrie really is misunderstood. You know, because it is their job in media to look at all these things. We're a super small platform. Do you know what I mean? We put out videos here and there. We do our thing, but we try to look at everything from every angle. It's not about what we're doing to get clicks. We're talking the real. We're talking the truth. How we feel about a situation. And Sly is right. So are you, nivici. But I look at Shaq and no, Shaq's a smarter individual than what he's portraying on TV. That's the upsetting part. Because Shaq is very intelligent. We have to remember Shaq album goes platinum, marketing. He's got multiple businesses. I don't mess with 12, but he's also a police officer. He went to school for this, went to school. He's an astute businessman. Yet when it comes to TV, all these networks have a puppet up or have a hand up their ass. Okay? The puppet masters has got them going like this, chirping all freaking day. Charles, I give Charles no credit for nothing. He's just talking out his ass 24/7. Okay? Ernie, I wish Ernie, as much as Ernie wanted to say Black Power, Ernie, you yourself should have stopped Shaq from saying what he was saying. You should have held that up. Okay? The only one on that panel that I have like the most respect for is Kenny. Because Kenny was straight. Kenny said, yo, we don't know what's going on. We need to talk to the man. Yet again, back to what I was saying, stop the council culture. Council. Hey, young man, you know, right? And I have to give Kyrie shouts out because there was another clip that I wanted to get to, but I couldn't get it. Kyrie himself said anybody born between 1981 and 2006, 1996, we are the new generation. What we need to do, like Sly said, is we need to go back and look at our heritage. Same thing Kyrie said. We need to go back and teach the younger ones. Yo, there's another way. Dude, so I'll go ahead.
So here, my thing is, we have seen people doing worse and more horrible things than what Kyrie posted in the link.
Yeah.
This year's, and everything, and they don't get canceled. That's my point. So for certain things, you should get canceled. Things that are really horrible.
Yeah.
We don't see them getting canceled.
nivici.
I'm just gonna say, like Brett Favre did a little something here.
No, Brett did a little something. No, nivici. Say what it is. He robbed the people in Mississippi. He robbed the people in Mississippi. And you didn't hear nothing about that, right? There was text messages that saying, are they going to find out I'm stealing money from all these poor people? And they don't see nothing.
He denying it, too.
Yeah, denying what? And you see what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Like, yet again, nivici, I feel you. And I wanted to touch on it, but I'm going to calm down, people. I'm sorry for yelling. I'm just, right now, when it comes to this, it's not about right or wrong for Kyrie. It's about right or wrong for people. We're all human beings. It doesn't matter where you come from. Nobody's perfect. People make mistakes. Okay? Now, if you're out here doing dastardly stuff like graping and all that extra stuff, no, there's no counsel for you. Cancel that. That's what I'll agree on, right? But when somebody go ahead.
Sorry. King and Sly here, right? The way that you would see if you didn't actually know that Kyrie just posted a link and you just happened to see the way the media and everybody was going at him, you would think that this guy must have said some horrible things multiple times about Jewish people, like nonstop. He must really hate them. He must have said some crazy thing.
nivici, yet again,
that's not like a coincidence either. It's not. That's not because
Kanye said what he said. Kanye said what he said, and Kyrie, like literally all the smoke they had for Kanye, just shifted it to Kyrie.
That's a fact.
And they both didn't say this. Neither Kyrie said nothing along the lines Kanye said. I like, you know, and I'm not even calling Kanye crazy because you know what I'm gonna say right now, and we probably gonna get canceled for this. Kanye was right. Look what's happening. Look what's happening. Look what's happening. Kanye said all that stuff. He loses something. Kyrie puts up a post, and we're treating him as if he came on and said, "You need like we." Come on, Sly. You know this. Sometimes
No, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Like,
you know, sometimes we might post stuff and not fully know. And maybe it's a meme and it might be a meme of some other stuff. And next thing you know, other people take it the wrong way. But you know what I mean? If we could, as people, could just say, I didn't like that. This is what I took out of it. And the other person can explain, cool. You know what I'm saying? But sorry for cutting you off, sir. Go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead, Sly.
Oh, no. I was just saying I agree with you. I feel the exact same way. Like Kanye was saying, like, yo, the media literally has control of what you can say, what you can think, and then they have control of your money. Like, no, if you specifically, he spoke on the Jewish media, and it's literally like it's like the man is he said it happened exactly how he said it, and that's it's not there's no irony either. It's a coincidence. It's literally playing out right in front of our face, man. And I feel like the same Kanye is an example of exactly because I don't agree with 100% of what Kanye said. Just like I feel like Kyrie probably don't agree with 100% what was posted in that book. But if you show that support, it's all gonna come down on you like you do, and it's crazy. It's like when you said that Kyrie's lack of context is the only thing I can fault him for, and I really wish I'm pretty sure he wish he could backtrack and offered some context to what he said and to how he felt about the book and really what his intentions were by posting and what he took from it, because in one of his interviews after practice, he said a lot of things, and none of it was focused on, but he said something that kind of that got me, and I'm in 1,000% support of him because he said, growing up in this country as being Black, we're taught that we're the worst of the worst, and we come from nothing, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said something along those lines. And when in reality, I mean, what Kyrie believes and what the book is saying, like us as Black people, we're the chosen people. Like we come from a royal lineage, and nobody focused on what he said, that little couple sentences he said, and it was so disappointing, man. I feel like nobody talked about that. No Shannon Sharps, none of those Stephen A. Smiths, or none of them talked about that part. They keep talking about this anti-Semitism. They keep talking. Kyrie said out of his mouth, he said, yo, as Black people, we're told that we are nothing. We come from nothing. That is what we have been told our whole lives. Like, why wouldn't they focus on that though? Like, and I just, it's just disappointing, man.
Sly, let me put it up. The media won't tell the whole truth. You want me to give you another gem from that interview? Because I was going to post that one, but I'm like, you know what? Let me leave that alone. So Kyrie said, where were you when I found out 300 million of my people were buried on this land? Where were you guys asking the questions then? And it's the truth. Do you know what I mean? Yet again, they have energy for when we say something that they deem inaccurate, offensive, vulgar, whatever words you want to find in the dictionary. But when it comes to us now, we just got to take it with a Coke and a smile. Do you know what I mean? And it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, myself, I understand that, like, because my dad always told me, my family is part Maroons. That's an African tribe that were slaves that ran away from slavery and landed in Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't gone back and done my studying on that, and I'm not going to act like I did, but at the end of the day, that's something my father told me, and I've looked into it here and there. But the history of us as a people, we're more than what the media portrays us to be. Look at our music. Look at everything. Hot Girl Summer, Cardi B and them are running up numbers, right? And these suburb kids who have no experience, any experiences that we have, are sucking that stuff up dry. You know what I mean? Even to touch back on the further point, when that stuff happened in Buffalo, I don't think y'all people heard Sly when Sly said what he said. We ain't scared. We're tired of the garbage, B. Me and Nivici in Canada. Sly's in the States. When that stuff happened, it hurt us just as much as it hurt him, even though we're not present. Because it doesn't matter where we are on this continent, we're all the same. We all experience some form of this garbage. And you know what? ESPN, we've been saying it when it came to Richard Nichols. You know what I mean? Jalen Rose, I love you, but you need to check your daughter because you see what happened with Rachel Nichols, how she got painted to be a non-ally. That wasn't the case. The case was she had a contract. They didn't honor the contract, and they turned around and tried to turn her into a devil, into a demon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing they're doing to Kyrie. Okay? Kyrie didn't say anything that Kanye said. Kyrie said, how can I be anti-Semitic when I know where I come from?
Facts.
Yeah. And let's go back to it here because listen, we're not sitting here, we're not defending, we're not supporting Jewish hate or anything like that. So like I said, let's get that out of the way. That's far from the truth. We're just keeping it real because everybody else don't want to keep it real.
Nope,
right?
not the media.
Everybody else don't want to keep it real. We're just like some of this that it's unwanted. Some of the things he's getting, some of the things he's saying about him, right? And you should know, and the media should know. So where are all of them when Kyrie's doing all of these great things again, helping people from all different walks.
Nivici, you notice you didn't hear one damn thing. I watch First Take on YouTube religiously. I never on any of these sports shows heard them bring that up about Kyrie. How are we bringing that up? And we're three guys that have to do this show via internet, and we can find these facts. Is it because we're trying to tell the whole truth and give people a broad spectrum of what's really going on and still have our opinion, or are we trying to make money and get clicks? Because I swear that's what ESPN's about now. I mean, when they have people like Perk on there talking crazy.
Yeah, they control the narrative too. They want to make sure they have a narrative. They have that they feel responsible to promote. And it's sad to see other black men fall in line with it. That's the part that just gets under my skin. It's like not one. Well, no, Jay Williams. I want to say not one. I would say Jay Williams. Jay Williams definitely did, and I respect Jay Williams a lot, man, because
I'll play that clip in a bit too.
Yeah, like he spoke more actually what came out of Kyrie's mouth or what Kyrie actually said. None of them are talking about what Kyrie actually said. They're talking about the book that Kyrie didn't write. Kyrie's not selling it. He posted it.
Don't forget the movie.
Well, I don't know if I would call that promoting. I wouldn't say he promoted it either, to be honest. Like,
no, he shared it. So sharing now is promotion. These guys are clowns, bro.
And it's like, I'm not jacking that, man. When he said a lot, though, when he opened his mouth and used his words, he said a whole lot. But they haven't spoke about that not one time. They speaking about this book, and to a man that he didn't write the book. So it's wrong, man.
So how about all of these messages that we have seen from different non-black athletes that's been posting stuff, racism stuff, tweets and everything, and all this stuff, and all of these stuff, liking this and liking that. Where was the same energy for that? There's nothing same energy. And since we're here and we're holding everybody accountable, let's hold the Brooklyn Nets accountable too. Right?
Oh, Joy Tsai? Why don't you talk
let's
about
hold
China?
Them accountable. What are you doing, bro?
Well, why don't you talk about China, Joe Tsai? Huh?
No. Let's hold them accountable.
I'm sorry, sir. Go ahead.
If the thing was that happened, the Brooklyn Nets should have came out right away. They already know. Should have came out right away and said, Kyrie, just let's get this out the way. Right? Mm-hmm. Let's get something out the way. They didn't say nothing. You know when Brooklyn Nets decided is the moment the head of the table said something. I think it was like 20 minutes or 30 minutes after the head of the table said something.
And what is the head of the table, sir? If you don't
context and details, the head of the table is a Jewish man, Adam Silver, right? So 30 minutes after he said something, the Brooklyn Nets get up and we're gonna suspend Kyrie. Oh, this is unacceptable. Blah 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 blah. This and that. See, accountable.
Yeah, they're bozos. So I'm gonna play the one last clip of the little matchup I made. It's about your guy LeBron James. I'm sorry, man. I ain't trying to kill you. I'm just gonna show people what's going on.
I'm all in.
Much from players around the league this week about Kyrie Irving's social media posts and subsequent comments. I was just curious, why do you think that is, considering this league is so socially conscious?
I'm not sure.
If you want to ask me a question, you can ask me. I can't speak for 449 players.
Sure. Certainly your position, you've been in
Funny how he says that then, but he wasn't saying that before, huh?
in the position of the best to speak for the league.
I can tell you this. It's simple. Me personally, I don't condone any hate to any kind, to any race, to Jewish communities, to black communities, to Asian communities. You guys know where I stand, and it's part of the reason why I didn't air the shop episode, why we kicked that, out of the archives, because it was hate conversation going on there, and I don't represent that. There's no place in this world for it. Nobody can benefit from that, and I believe what Kyrie did caused some harm to a lot of people, and he has since over the last, I think today or was it yesterday, he apologized, but he caused some harm, and I think it's unfortunate, but I don't stand on the position to harm people when it comes to your voice or your platform or anything. And so it doesn't matter what color your skin is, how tall you are, what position you are in. If you are promoting or soliciting or saying harmful things to any community that harm people, then I don't respect it. I don't condone it.
Considering you do identify that his actions as being harmful to people, what do you believe could be a resolution for him to get past the current suspensions that he has with the Nets and Nike?
I don't know. Because at the end of the day, Kyrie is his own man. He stands up in front of the media and speaks. He is a man. He has a great family. I mean, I love the kid. Well, he's not even a kid anymore. He's 30. He just said that the other day in his presser. I was like, it's insane. I don't know the direction, the steps that he take, but he's apologized for what he said. And I hope that he understands that what he said was harmful to a lot of people.
What did he say?
Hold on.
What the fuck did he say?
Yo,
Kyrie didn't say a fucking word. Bro, this is my point here. This is what's getting me fucking mad. Kyrie did not say anything. Where did you see Kyrie post and say anything hateful? He tweeted a link. My God. This is what I'm saying is, why are we so damn sensitive, bro? Why are we so sensitive, bro?
You know what's funny,
when are we gonna get back to being tough human beings and all this stuff, bro? It's so sensitive. It's like everybody walking around now. The guys man buns and every goddamn thing and all of this shit, bro. Like, yo, let's go back to being real and hard, man. This is ridiculous, man.
You know what's funny? Do you guys know when the movie Negro to Hebrew was made? 2018. It's been on Amazon since 2018.
Word.
So it's been around for 4 or 5 years? If it was so anti-Semitic, why were they talking about it then?
Where was the protest for it to be taken off Amazon? Since it's so horrible.
They don't want to do that though, right? Because you know what happens when they do that.
We're not defending Kyrie for posting the damn link. Kyrie should have posted with context and details. I'm going to go back on set. So he needs to be accountable for that. Right?
Yes.
That's the only damn thing he needs to apologize for and explain himself about. That's it.
That's it. So before we end this off, I just want to play Jason Williams because I feel like it's 4 minutes, people. So you're going to have to bear with me on this one. I just want y'all to hear what Jason Williams said because when he tried to bring it up on First Take, like I said, Molly couldn't sit down and shut up. She cut him off. And then on top of that, you know that he's on TV. So guess what they did? As he's talking, they're like, oh, we got to cut commercial.
Oh, did they really?
Ah, son, I'm telling you.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? They try to cut that joint quick. So please, gentlemen, let me know if you can hear the audio. If you can't, I will find another way to pull it up later on.
Every day of my life, I approach it with a state of empathy. right? Regardless of what color, what creed, what race you are, I look at people as human beings. I think that's important. But life is always about taking a stand and holding principles. So I want to explain what I feel like my stance is as a Black male in this world, okay? And conversations that I've had with my brothers and sisters in the Black community. And I want you guys to empathize with it and hear me on it. So when I hear what Kyrie Irving has to go through in order to be reinstated, I'm appalled. I'm appalled. And let me give you examples of how I feel like we don't have the same energy and hold other people who have dealt with racial tropes accountable. So when Sarah Silverman does blackface, or when Don Imus says nappy-headed hose, or when Howard Stern calls somebody the N-word in the skit, or when Brett Favre takes money from the state of Mississippi, we don't ask them to get sensitivity training. We don't ask them to donate $500,000. We don't ask them to meet with the Black National Caucus. They apologize. And then, you know what? The rest of the world moves on. But what I feel like is happening here, and that's how in the Black community, like we've been told that's how the process works, right? Think about that, Bert. That's how the process works. Oh, somebody does a blackface. Oh, it was a misunderstanding. We got it. Okay. You know, is that person really racist? Probably not. Was it ignorant? Probably so. Okay. We understand it. We move forward. We don't like it. We would love to hold them accountable. But society and having a lot of Black people in positions of power, we don't have the governability to do that. But what we feel like happens with Kyrie is even after an apology, it's not enough. We feel like there needs to be more. And a lot of people I've spoken to over the last couple of days talk about this thing. Older mentors of mine talk about buck breaking. It's so we talk about tropes. This is something that we feel like in the Black community that happened way back in the day, where if there was a slave that was defiant, right, he got broken in front of everybody in order to show that he was not in a position of power. And that at the end of the day, he had to do what he was told to do because that's what was mandated of him. And there's a bigger situation going on. What's happening with Kyrie Irving? If the Nets don't want him to be there, just say you don't want him to be there. But we should hold everybody accountable, even owners of teams accountable with things that are happening in other countries, i.e. China and Uyghurs and the Muslim genocide that is occurring that we hear Enes Kanter talk about. But we don't keep the same energy for everybody. We pick and choose what conversational points we want to make more polarizing. And I might lose my job. I might lose deal opportunities in the future for speaking out about even the platforms that continue to promote and profit a movie that is considered anti-Semitic to billions of people. They don't have to be accountable. Who is accountable? But we're going to put everything on the shoulders of Kyrie Irving, who, even though he said, I cannot be anti-Semitic because if I know where I came from, stating that he's one of the 4 lost tribes. He's saying that Blacks and Jews come from the same entity, the same thing. But we don't want to understand nuance. We want to be triggered by words, and we like fire, and we like things that are going viral on social media, and everybody has some kind of hot take, and we're calling people idiots, and we're calling people names because that's what we do. We just destroy each other. I ain't gonna destroy each other, man. I'm not gonna do that. Is Kyrie Irving anti-Semitic? Hell no. Could he have gone about it maybe a different way? That's what I would have advised him to do. But I'm not gonna let you guys sit out here and make this dude out to be like he is a villain, like he is a bad person. He is looking to explore his heritage. Now, you can crucify me if you want. I don't give a damn anymore. It's time for people to start speaking out with nuance and speaking out on the principles they stand for. That's all I'll say.
Protect that man. Protect that man.
That's a fact.
No, here's the funny thing, though. Here's the thing, right? When it comes, sorry, this thing's going crazy. But anyways, this is the thing though. Sly said it, Da Vinci said it, I said it, right? Sly was the first one to say, yo, heritage. He himself is going back and looking at his heritage and realizing that black people, our history doesn't start with America. It starts way over in Africa, in the Middle Eastern areas. Because that's where we come from. Oh, hold on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
I mean, it goes a little deeper than that. I don't want to take it, but actually, it's a lot of scholars that believe our ancestry dates back to America before it was even called America. Like,
okay,
basically saying that like we were what most people think is the sacred land is actually in America. Like, and America was inhabited by black people prior to all these whatever other European colonization occurred. Like, a lot of scholars actually believe that this land that we're on today, like that's called North America, is the sacred land. Like, and I think a lot of that was kind of stated in that book as well. Like, but I guess that's a whole nother conversation anyway. That goes away, but
no. Hey, listen, we're here to teach people and educate ourselves. So the fact that you're saying that, you know what I mean, it doesn't mean any less. It actually means more. Because I mean, I heard theories that the world got broken apart. So Africa, this was Africa, and that something happened and pieces of the earth split up and got moved, and that's how we have all these continents now. So